Thanks for joining us for the class today. So we're going to go through lots of different exercises, and I'm going to go through different levels of each of those exercises. So it's really important you just go to what level suits you, okay? We're going to start our move of the month today as well for March, which is bridging. So I'm going to go through all the way how to do that, but there's lots of information on our website as well if you want to look into that a little bit more detail. But we'll go through that together today in the class, and we're going to do that all through the month. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to bring our toes apart and our heels apart. So our feet in that hip width distance. And just to start with, we're going to transfer that weight coming onto the fronts of your feet and then back onto your heels. So just nice and slowly forwards and back from there. I'm just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements. That's weights going nice and evenly through your feet. Make sure your knees are nice and soft, so not locked back from there. Hands up onto your pelvis, and then we're very gently going to tilt that pelvis forwards and then tucking it back. So imagine that pelvis is a bucket of water. You're tilting the water out the front and then tipping it out the back. So just slight tilting forwards and back, just a small movement. And we're finding that midpoint between those two movements. So our pelvis is in a nice neutral spine position. If you're not quite sure about that, you can have a look on our website that goes into a little bit more detail about how to find your neutral spine. Our core, pelvic floor is gently engaged. Those shoulders are nice and widened. The shoulders drop down so that neck is nice and long. That chin tucked in a little bit. Our neck is long and lifted. So in this lovely posture to start with. Great. Okay, so we're going to pop our hands on our hips to begin with and just start by warming up our feet. So we're going to raise one heel and then we're going to switch round. So we're going to do like a toe walking. So we're alternating sides, warming up through those ankles and those toes. So opposite sides, alternating. That's it, good. And just stretching through those feet, just warming up through our legs. That's it, good. So just keep switching side to side from here. Good. So just warming up, keeping that control at the pelvis. So our pelvis is staying nice and steady. Our core still gently engaged. So we're just using that to help control what's happening around at the pelvis. Good. Now we're going to keep going here, do a little bit of coordination and raise our hands up to shoulder height. And from here we're going to raise opposite arm, opposite leg. So opposite arm and leg, and we get into a little bit of a rhythm with it. So sometimes if you think about it too much, it gets a bit tricky. So just think opposite arm, opposite leg. Now as we're doing this, we're still keeping that control around the pelvis and my ribs aren't flaring. So I'm keeping the control as we're raising opposite arm, opposite leg. That's it, good. So keep going here. And we're going to do a few more, nice and controlled, lovely. Stretching through, make sure those ribs aren't flaring as you're raising the arm, just going as far as you feel you've got that control. Good. And let's do one more each side with our arms, and then we're going to keep going with our feet. So keeping that movement through the ankle. Good. Now, you can see I've got a little bit of a bounce here as I'm moving. I want you to see now if you can keep that pelvis nice and steady and just move those ankles. So now I'm keeping my upper body nice and still and just moving through those feet, just warming up our legs a little bit. That's it, good. Still breathing in and out as we're just moving through those legs. Great, we're going to do last few here. Just keep that control. And one more each side. And then relax those legs back down. Very good. Okay, so let's stretch our upper bodies and we do our Y stretch. So we're going to bring our arms up and out in a big Y shape and then back down. Make sure you're not allowing your ribs to flare as you lift up and out and then back down. So keeping that control as you lift the arms up and away. Good. Now if you can, on that out breath as we're coming up and opening that chest out, but I'm still keeping that control, I'm not letting my ribs flare as I raise my arms. Now if you can, we can bring it up onto our toes again and back down as you do that. So you're raising those hands up onto those toes, keeping that control as you come up and then lower down. Good, and again, and down, and again, raising up, opening out and back down. One last time, opening out and then lowering those arms back down, relax those shoulders. Very good. So we're going to open our chest a little bit more and bring our elbows into our sides, palms up towards the sky or the ceiling here, and then we're going to just lengthen through the back of the neck as well. So we'll take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to open those hands out, squeeze the shoulder blades gently back, coming forwards, and again opening out, squeeze the shoulder blades gently back and forward. So the distance between my ears and my shoulders should stay the same. You're not raising up through those shoulders. Opening out, good, and then back. And I'm really squeezing those shoulder blades together just to get them working. Good. And they're great for our posture. If you've been sat at a desk for a lot of the day, just getting them working, opening out that chest as well as we're doing this movement. Good. So we're going to open out and back. Now we're going to combine a movement in now. So opening out, we're coming back, and then we're going to push those hands back and away and squeeze the shoulder blades. Good. So we open those hands out, and then as you push back and away, squeeze the shoulder blades gently back. Good. And again, so opening out, and then we push and squeeze the shoulder blades back and away. Good. And again, so opening out, and then squeezing back and away. Now on this next time, we're going to keep the hands down by your side, and we're going to do like a hundreds movement. We're going to pulse those hands. So again, keeping my shoulders down, breathing in and out for about 5 pulses, and in and out. So my body's staying nice and steady, breathing in and out. So just keeping that control, and out. Just pulsing those arms, just warming them up. Good, and out. Pulsing those hands down, and again breathing in and out. And one more breath in and out. And then just relax those arms. Very good. Okay, so just relaxing there. Our feet are still that hip width distance apart, and we're going to work our legs a little bit now. So bring one leg just in front of you, and we do like a scissors type movement. So we're going to lift up through the hip. So flexing at the hip, we're coming up, and then tapping that foot back down. Good. And again, so we lift up, tap down. Now keeping that pelvis nice and steady as you lift and flex through the hip, lifting and tap down. Good. So coming up, tap down. The leg you're standing on is working really hard to stabilise you, but this leg is working through those hip flexors just to lift that leg and tap back down. Good. Now either staying here if that feels comfortable for you, or if you can, if you lift up, we're going to straighten the leg and then lower down and back to the start. So we lift up, extend the knee, lower down and back. Good. And again, lift up, keeping that pelvis nice and steady. This knee should be nice and soft, not locked back. So its leg is working hard to stabilise and support you. Good. And again, so lift up, stretch the leg, lower down. Lovely. And again, lift up, stretch the leg and lower. And again, lift up, stretch the leg and lower. Now we're going to do one more here. Lift up, straighten the leg. And if you can, we're going to do 8 pulses. So go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower that leg down. Well done. And bring that leg back to the start. Okay, we do the same on the other side. So bring that opposite leg just in front. So that kind of scissors type movement. The leg you're standing on is working hard to stabilise you. And then we're going to flex through this hip. So we're going to lift up and then tap down. Good. So we lift up, tap down. Good. Now flexing through the hip, keeping that pelvis nice and stable as you're just lifting and tapping back down through that leg. So the movement's really coming from that hip. We're working those hip flexors a little bit to lift your leg up and tap back down. Good. Okay, and again, tap down. Now this time, as we did before, if you can, we're going to lift up, straighten the leg and lower. And again, so we lift up, straighten the leg and lower. And again, lift up, straighten and lower. Very good. Okay, now we're going to lift up, straighten, lower one more time here as we come up. And then if you can, we're going to do 8 pulses. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower that leg down. Well done. And come back to that start. Okay, so our feet are in that hip width distance apart, and we're going to make them a little bit wider. So we're going to bring our toes and then our heels apart one more time, and then just turn those feet just about 45 degrees as angle from there. Put them to our pelvis, and then we're just going to drop down into a little squat and then come back up. Okay, so we're sticking that bottom out behind us as we come down into that squat. Don't go too far, just go to where you feel comfortable. So if it's a bit uncomfortable on your knees, make sure you're sitting your bottom back, but also just don't go quite so low. Alright, so just pick where's comfortable for you as you're coming down. Lovely. And dropping back. Good. Dropping down and then back up. Great. Now on this next one, we're going to stay here. We're going to come down into the squat. I'm going to raise my right arm, lift it up towards the sky, stretch over, back down, opposite arm up, that left arm up, stretching over, coming back, and then coming up and out. Lovely. Okay, we'll do that again. So dropping down, bring that right arm up, looking up to the hand, stretch over, lengthening out that side, coming back down, left arm up, reaching over, coming back, and then back up. Good. And again, so we're going to drop down into that squat, right arm lifted, looking up, stretching that side over, coming back down, opposite arm up, reaching over, coming back, and lifting up. Great, let's do one more here. So dropping down, reach that right arm up, stretching over, back, last time lifting up, stretching over, and then back, and then lift up. Very good. And then we're going to bring those feet back to that hip width distance apart. Knees still soft, that pelvis in neutral, and we're going to do an upper body roll. So we're going to roll our right shoulder around, bring that hand sliding down by your thigh, and then roll the hands forward so your body's angling, and then breath in. As you breathe out, back up to the start. Good. And then the left shoulder, we're going to roll it around, slide that hand down, bring that body round to the front so your arms are dangling forwards on that breath, peeling back up. Good. And again, right shoulder rolling, sliding that hand down, bringing that body forwards and round, breath in. As you breathe out, back up. Good. And again, rolling that arm, sliding down, bringing the arms forward, breath in. As you breathe out, sliding back up. Good. One more each side. So rolling that shoulder, hand going down by your side, bringing that body forward, breath in. As you breathe out, slowly coming back up. Lovely. One last time. Rolling the shoulders, hands down by your side, bringing the arm forward. Now we're going to stay here. Take a breath in. Now on that out breath this time, we're going to slowly roll all the way down to the floor. And then breath in at the end here. And as you breathe out, peeling slowly back up into standing. Good. So we're going to roll down all the way again. So breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin down, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Take a breath at the end here. As you breathe out, slowly peeling back up into standing. Good. We're going to do one more time. Breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin down, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Take a breath at the end here. And as you breathe out, slowly peeling back up into standing. Relax. Excellent. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more warmed up now. So we're going to come down onto our mats. So if you come down onto your back to begin with, if you have a thinner pillow, you can pop it there to support your neck, or just have your head flat on the mat. It's up to you. So we're going to come down onto our backs. Now we're going to start finding our neutral position again. So feet and knees that hip width distance apart. We're going to tilt that pelvis forwards and back to begin with, just to make sure we're starting in that nice neutral spine position. That core and pelvic floor is just gently lifted. Our arms are relaxed down by our side. My ribs are soft. Neck is nice and long. So my chin's just tucked in slightly from here. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start with a one leg stretch. So we're going to bring one leg up into tabletop. From here, we're going to lengthen one leg away, come back into tabletop, and then lower back down. And we do the same on the opposite side. So opposite leg up into tabletop, lengthen the leg away, coming back, and then lower. Now, as we're doing this, as we're lengthening the leg away, we're keeping that neutral spine position as we lengthen the leg. So we're not letting that back arch as we lengthen the leg away. We're keeping that control through the pelvis. So if that's comfortable and you've done this Pilates before, or you're feeling comfortable here, we can bring both legs up into double tabletop. And again, making sure I'm maintaining that neutral spine position. I'm lengthening the leg one at a time from here. Okay, so keeping that control as you're lengthening the leg away from you. You don't have to stay at one level or the other. You can mix and match if you want to. Just do what you feel comfortable with. Okay, so just keep that control all the time as you're lengthening the leg from here. Good. Now if that feels okay, we can put our hands behind our head and we can add in a little bit of abdo prep. So as we stretch the leg away, we lift our head. just a little way and engaging those upper abdominals as we're lifting and lowering. Good. So as you're breathing out, you're stretching that leg away, just making sure you're not holding your breath, just keeping going here. Lovely. So remember, mix and match those levels. If it's starting to feel too much to lift, just bring back down, or if your legs in double tabletop is too much, come back to that single leg. Okay, so just pick what's comfortable for you, and we'll do a few more here. So just stretching the leg and down, keeping that control, making sure that pelvis is still staying in that neutral position and your tummy is still nice and flat. Very good. We're going to do a few more. Well done. Keeping that control. Remember, mix those levels if you need to. Well done. Stretching the leg away. Good. Let's do one more each side. And then we're going to lower back down. And then just bringing those legs one at a time back to that start position. Well done. Okay, so we're still starting with our feet and knees at hip width distance apart, making sure we're in a neutral spine position, arms relaxed down by your side. So we're going to do our hundreds movement from here, a little bit like we did with standing. So we've got a couple of different levels. Our arms are relaxed down by our side, so keeping that neck nice and long. And you can either start with one leg into single tabletop. If that feels okay, we can bring both legs into double tabletop, but because we stay here, we can bring our knees and our feet together. The arms, for about 5 beats in, breath, and then as you breathe out for 5 pulses. In and out, and in and out. So this is an endurance abdominal, so you need to keep going with the pulses, pulsing these arms, breathing in about 5 pulses and out for about 5 pulses. Here we can lift up into intermittently lower your head if you need to, okay? Or maintain this position in, out. Good. Keep going here. Also have if you're down better, but then touching the floor. So continue. Good. Breathe in and out. Good. Still pulse the arms, well done. Good again. I want to do one more out. Out. And then relaxing down, relax those arms down, well done. And bring those legs back down. Let's have a hug and stretch out that back, well done. So just bring those knees in towards your chest. Just take a nice deep breath in here. On the out breath, if you can, just sink down into that stretch a little bit further if you can, just relaxing into that stretch. So just breathing in and out, sinking down a little bit further if you can from here. Good. And relaxing down. Good. So just these legs down, one at a time, back to that start position. So feet and knees about that hip width distance apart. Now we're going to do our move of the month for March. We'll do our bridging movement now. So our feet and knees about that hip width distance apart. Again, starting in that nice neutral spine position. The one thing with the bridge, people often can get cramp in the backs of your legs, so make sure your feet aren't too far away from you. So that can often be a reason for that. So tuck those feet up a little bit closer to your bottom. Arms relaxed down by your side, so that neck is nice and long. Now if you're using a pillow for this exercise, it's good just to tuck that behind you, okay? So your head is just nice and flat. If you do feel you really need it, you can put it there, but it is better just to keep our neck in that neutral position if we can. So we'll take a breath in here. As you breathe out, we're going to squeeze the bottom muscle, and as you squeeze your bottom, you'll feel your pelvis tilt back, okay? So that's the start of the movement. So we want to engage those bottom muscles, our pelvis will tilt back, and then we're lifting up into this bridge position. Now take a breath in at the top here, and as we breathe out, we're slowly peeling to that start. Good, and again, so we take a breath in. As we breathe out, tilting that pelvis back, squeezing those bottom muscles, helping you lift you up into this bridge. Breath at the top here. As you breathe out, keeping those bottom muscles to help lower and support you as you come back to the start. Good, and again, breath in. As we breathe out, slowly peeling that back up into that bridge. Take a breath at the top here. And as you breathe out, slowly peel back down to that start position. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, coming up into that bridge. Breath at the top here, and slowly peeling. Now, stay here if that feels comfortable, or if you want to, there's a few add-ons we can do with this exercise to make it a little bit harder, and either progress towards over this month, or if you've done Pilates before, you might be comfortable doing it already. And we can raise one heel, and the opposite heel, and then lowering back down. If that feels comfortable, then as you come up again, we can raise one foot and back down, and then the opposite foot, keeping that pelvis level and that bottom engaged to help support you. And if that's okay, again, we come back up into the bridge position, keeping those bottom muscles engaged. We can straighten one leg out, and then the opposite leg, and then lower down, and slowly moving down to the start. Good, one last time, we're going to come up. If you're feeling really good or you have done lots of Pilates before, then you can stretch the leg, raise it up, back down, and then lower. And again, so stretch the leg, lift up, back down, and then lower, back round. Well done. So there are different levels we might work towards this month, alright? Or we're just going to keep practicing so we feel like we're improving at this exercise. So take a breath in again. As you breathe out, tucking that bottom back, lifting up into that bridge. And again, then just picking your level that's comfortable and back down. So we'll just do a few more here. So breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis back, you use those bottom muscles to lift you up into that bridge. Again, add your add-on if you want to. But do what feels comfortable. Good, and again. So we can always mix and match, like I've said before. You don't have to stick at one level or the other. You might want to try the next one. Just do one or two of them and then build that number up as we do this exercise in each class. Good, slowly lowering back down. Lovely. Okay, let's do one more. Tucking that bottom under, lifting up into that bridge. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, slowly peeling back down to that start position. Very good. Let's just bring those knees in, have a quick hug and stretch that back out. Well done. So just like a few nice deep breaths in and out here. On that out breath, if you can, just sink down into that stretch a little bit further if you can. Just to stretch out through that lower back. Well done. So we'll bring those legs back down one at a time, coming back again to that start position. So our feet and knees are that hip width distance apart. Again, starting in that nice neutral spine position. So just tilt that pelvis and back if you need to find that again. Back lifted, our arms relaxed down by your side. If you want to have that thinner pillow just tucked back under your head, you can, okay? So we're going to go similar to what we did in standing and do our scissors movement from here. So we're going to raise one leg up into tabletop. Keeping that knee at that 90-degree angle, we're going to tap the foot down, back up, and then lower. Good, and again, so lifting up, tap down, back up, and then lower. Good, and again. So as you tap the foot down, that movement is coming from the hip. So it's not your knee that should be moving, it's the hip that movement's coming from. So you're flexing through the hip as you tap down, back up, and then lower. If this is quite comfortable and you're happy here, making sure that as you foot down, you're not in that back up, not losing that neutral as you tap the foot back down. Then you can bring both to double tabletop. So we maintain this double tabletop position as we're tapping down one at a time. Good, so tapping, tapping. Well done. So controlling that movement. So tapping the foot, good. Keeping that control. Well done. So tapping there. Now if that's okay, we can increase the speed a little bit. So we're tapping, tapping. Good. So just keep that control as you're increasing the speed if you are, or if that starts to feel too much, if you start to feel your back is really arching, your tummy is really bracing, better to do a level right than start really hurting through your back or overarching. So keep that control as you're tapping down whatever level you're at. So just tap, tap. Well done. Breathing in and out still, not holding your breath, remember. Keep that control from here. Good, we'll do a few more. Tap through that foot. Well done. Starting to feel that in those thighs now probably. And through those legs. Well done. So tapping each side, nice and controlled, maintaining that neutral spine position of that pelvis. Well done. And we're going to do one more each side and then bring those legs back to that start. Well done. Okay, so we're going to stretch out these legs and do an opposite arm. Again, we're going to lengthen one leg away. At the same time, bring the opposite arm above our head. So keeping that control through that anterior sling, and we're going to alternate sides, lengthen through opposite arm, opposite leg, and then back. Now what you're really watching for here is to make sure that your ribs don't flare, so you're keeping that control as you lengthen away, opposite arm, opposite leg. Maintaining that neutral spine position of your pelvis, but not letting the ribs flare. You lengthen opposite arm, opposite leg. Good. So controlling that movement, stretching through those hip flexors. Well done. So if that's feeling okay, I just stay here if that's a nice, lovely lengthening movement to do. Or if you want to, we can bring both legs up into double tabletop, and then we can lengthen out again, opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping this position. Okay, so pick what's comfortable for you. Lengthening away and then back. Good. So breathing out, breathing through and back. Well done. And lengthen away as we go. That's it. Good. So keep control, not letting your ribs fire. You're not trying to necessarily touch the floor behind you, because actually that might be too far to keep that control. It's really about keeping that movement from the centre as we're lengthening and extending our opposite arm, opposite leg. Good. We'll do a few more here. Lengthen away and back. Lovely. Keeping that control. Breathe. We're lengthening through. Well done. Good. Okay, let's do one more each side. And then we're going to lower those legs back down and bring those arms back down to that start. Very good. So if you want to just bring those knees and have a quick hug, then do just to stretch out through that back. If you want to do a little rock with that movement, you can. Again, just breathing in and out on the out breath. Just bring the knees towards the chest. If you don't like to hold them from your knee, just bring it through. Relax from there. So we're going to go straight into our rotation stretch from here. So either have your arms down to the side of you, or you can bring them a little bit further out. And then we're going to drop those knees over to one side. Turn your head to the opposite side if you can. And then use those toe muscles to help bring the knees back up to the middle and then over to the opposite side. So just dropping the knees over. Use the toe muscles to bring the knee back up to the middle and then over to the opposite side. Good. And again, dropping the knees over. Really enjoying that rotation through the spine. Have a nice stretch all through that spine. Turning your head if you can, just to stretch the neck a little bit as well. So dropping the knees over. Use those toe muscles, bringing the knees back up to the middle and then over to the opposite side. Good. And again, bring the knees up, then dropping over to the opposite side. Good. Do a few more here. Just rotating through, enjoying that stretch. Through that back. Well done. And again, just dropping over. Use those toe muscles to help bring the knees back to the middle and then over to the opposite side again. And again. dropping the knees over and coming back up. Last few here. Good. Let's do one more each side. And last one on the opposite side. And then bringing those knees back to that middle position and those arms just relaxing down by your side. Great. Okay, so we're going to come round onto our fronts now. We're going to come round onto our tummies just to work our bottom muscles a little bit more. So if you come round onto your front, we can relax down here just with our hands resting onto our forehead. Now, just because we're on our fronts doesn't mean we want to forget about keeping our neutral spine position and engaging through those abdominals as well. So just imagine you're lifting that belly button up in towards your spine, and we're just relaxing down from here with our head, okay? Now we're going to work our bottom muscles, so I want you to squeeze your bottom muscles together because we really want it to be your glutes that are working, not your lower back. So squeeze your bottom, and then we're going to lift one leg and then lower back down. And again, squeezing your bottom, lifting your leg and then lowering. Good. So just really getting those bottom muscles working. It's not a big movement, you won't need to go that far, but make sure it's your bottom that's engaging and not feeling any strain in your back. If you are, just really check you're squeezing your bottom and also that you're keeping that core engaged, so you're lifting up through that belly button. If that feels okay and you want to make it a little bit harder here, you can bend the knee and then lift the leg with the knee bent, okay? So it just makes it a little bit harder when the knee's bent if you raise it from there. So lifting and lowering from here. Good. So just going to keep going here, really using those bottom muscles each side and just alternating, continuing to alternate here side to side. So just getting those bums working either with that knee bent or with the leg straight, just lifting and lowering the leg from there. Well done. So squeezing that bottom and raising up. Very good. We'll do a few more each side. And let's do one last one each side. And then relaxing down. Okay, so from here, we're going to add in a little bit of movement of a one leg kick. So we're going to still add a bit of movement through the ankle. So we're going to bend the knee, and then we flex, point, flex the foot, and then lower the leg back down. And again, so we flex, point, flex, and lower. Good. Again, flex, point, flex, and lower. Good. So we're alternating sides again, as we did before. So flex, point, flex, and lower. Now if that feels okay, we can add in that previous movement, and we're flex, point, flex, and then lift and extend that leg away, okay? So we flex, point, flex, lift and extend through that leg. Good. And again, so flex, point, flex, lift and extend that leg away. Good. And again, lift and extend away. And again, so flex, point, flex, lift and extend away. Good. Lifting and extending. So we're keeping going here, alternating sides, really getting that ankle movement in as well. And we're lifting and extending through. Good. Make sure that core is still gently lifted, keeping that control of the pelvis as well as you're bringing that leg through. Lifting and lengthening. Good. Lifting and lengthening. Let's do last one each side here. Lifting and lengthening. And one last time. Lifting and lengthening. And then relax that leg down. Well done. So while we're in this position, let's have a nice stretch into an extension of our spines. So we're going to come up into an extended position. So if you can, we're going to come up onto your elbows. If that feels like enough of a stretch, then just stay here, okay? It's not working anything, we're just going to a comfortable position of extension through our spine. If that's okay, we can bring those hands a little bit wider and come into that Cobra Stretch from here. So breathing in and out as we're holding this stretch. On that out breath, just relaxing through, we're lengthening through those abdominals that we've worked, and then slowly coming back down onto those elbows, and then relaxing down again from here. Good. So just making sure that bottom's relaxed because we're just going to go back into that extension stretch if you can. So we're going to come back up onto your elbows. Good, make sure that bottom is relaxed, the spine is just relaxed through here. We're just having a nice extension stretch. Again, if that's enough, then just stay here, or if you can, we can bring your arms a little bit wider, and then come up into that extension. So extending through from here, breathing in and out, lengthening through the fronts of that body, and extending through that spine. Breathing, relaxing those shoulders, and there should be no tension there either. Good. And then slowly lowering back down again, and coming back to that start. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. So again, just make sure you're going to where you feel comfortable with that stretch and don't force that movement. So again, we're going to come back up. If that's your comfortable position on your elbows, or you can even just raise up a little bit more on your elbows themselves. But again, if that's comfortable, hands a little bit wider, and we're going to come back up into that extension stretch. So breathing in and out here, relaxing down into that stretch, stretching through those abdominals and into that spine, just to where you feel comfortable. Good. And again, relaxing down onto those elbows, and then back down onto those hands. Good. So from here, we're going to go into that opposite position and flex our spine. So we're going to come up onto our knees and down into a child pose stretch. So keep your hands in front, drop your bottom down onto your heels, relax your head down, and we're going to drop into this nice child pose stretch. So breathing in and out here. On that out breath, if you can, just relax down into that stretch a little bit further. Breathing in and out, relaxing down as you're stretching here. Now, to stretch out our sides a little bit more, let's just walk our hands round towards the right, okay? And we're going to feel that stretch through that left side a little bit more. Good, breathing in and out here, sinking down a little bit on that out breath if you can. Good, and then walk those hands back to the middle. And then again, breath in here. As you breathe out, sinking down a little bit further. And this time, let's walk our hands around to the left. So again, just stretching that right side a little bit as we bring your hands round. Good. And down. One more breath in here. And then slowly bringing those hands back to that centre. And again, breath in and out here as we're holding that stretch. Good. And we're going to walk our hands back up. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to come down onto our sides now. If you have a thicker block, you can use it just to support your head, or you can just use your hand or a little pillow at home. It's up to you. So if we drop down onto our sides, our head on that pillow if you've got it there. Our feet and hips are sort of roughly in a line, so those knees are bent up. That waist is just gently lifted, so we just lengthen through this waist by dropping down through those hips and feel that waist lift a little bit underneath you from there. So imagine you've got a little grape under there, you don't want to squash it, you're keeping that nice and long and lengthened. So we're going to do our clam movement from here, so working our bottom muscle, so our glute muscle here. So feet together, we're going to push through those heels and lift up the top knee into this clam position. Now we want to feel it in that back pocket side area working. If you don't, you might need to straighten or bend your knees up a little bit. So just see how it feels as you're doing it, but that might be what you need to do if you can't feel it in the right place. But still keeping that core engaged and that waist gently lifted. We're lifting and lowering the top knee from here. So repeating lifting and lowering that top knee. Good. So make sure as you're doing this, and often people try and cheat and let their hips roll back. So you're trying to keep those hips stacked on top of each other as you're lifting and lowering that top knee from here. So watch that they're not rolling back. There should be a sort of skewer going through those hips and they're staying stacked on top of each other as you're lifting and lowering from there. Good, so lifting and lowering. Well done. Now either staying here if this feels comfortable, or if you can, we can raise our feet up to hip height, keeping those heels, pushing through those heels and lifting that top knee again from here. Keeping that control, making sure those hips aren't rolling back as you're lifting and lowering that top knee. Good, so lifting and lowering from there as you're coming up and down. Good. Excellent. And we'll do one more with those feet lifted, and then we're going to lower those feet back down, and if you can, we're going to do last few lifting and lowering that top knee again. Well done. So keeping those hips stacked, make sure they're not rolling back, that waist still gently lifted, make sure you're not squashing that grate still as you're lifting and lowering that top knee. Well done. Last few here. Good. And one more. Good, and then relax that leg down. Well done, give that muscle a rub. Have a rest there. So we're going to drop that knee in front just to stretch out that muscle, okay? Keep that nice and relaxed there, and we're going to lengthen through that lower leg. So that lower leg's lengthened. Why we're stretching here, either just have a rest, or what we can do is just then work that inner thigh of that lower leg. So we're going to pulse that leg a little bit from here. Good, still breathing in and out, that core's gently engaged as we're pulsing that lower leg. Good, so breathing in and out as we're pulsing through that leg. Core still gently engaged, just working that inner thigh of that lower leg. Good. Pulsing from here, out. And we'll just do last few. Breath in again and out. And one more breath in and out. And relax that leg back down. Well done. Okay, and then we're going to bring those legs back up to that start. Okay, so from here, keeping those hips stacked on top of each other, we're going to do our Sidekick movement. So we're going to lift up the top leg to that hip height position, keeping that leg on a table. We're going to imagine that leg's on that table, and we're sliding the leg forwards and then sliding it back. Now if you need to, you can rest in between this movement, but if you can, we can keep going, sliding forwards and back with that leg. Now if that feels comfortable, or you've done this before, then you might want to straighten the leg and slide forwards and back from here. Good, so keeping control as you're sliding that leg forwards and back. So it's not a big movement, you're keeping the control as you slide forwards and back. Well done. Make sure if that foot's getting closer to the ground that it stays at that hip height. So we'll keep the control as you slide the leg forwards and back, just working through those bottom muscles. So it's not especially a big movement, and I'm still keeping that control around the pelvis as you're sliding the leg forwards and back. Good. Okay, we're going to do a few more here. Sliding forwards and back. Well done. And coming around. Good. And let's do one more here. Forwards and back, and then relax that leg down. Well done. Give that muscle a rub. Okay, so we're going to drop the block down to the floor if you're using it. Have the head at the front of it, arms out in front. And we're going to go into our arm opening stretch just to stretch our upper bodies now. So we're going to lift our top arm up, opening out our chest, rotating away, back to that start. So again, lifting up that top arm, opening out that chest, coming round and back as far as you feel comfortable. And again, so lifting up that top arm, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, following it with your head. Now try and keep those hips stacked, but if you're feeling a pull through your shoulder, just bend that elbow a little bit if you need to, and then coming back. Good. And again, lifting up that top arm, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, and then forward. So we're really opening out that chest and stretching through that upper back, just as far as you feel comfortable. Okay, so lifting up that top arm, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, and then back to that start. Good. We'll do a few more here. Lifting up, opening out that chest, and then coming back. Good. And again, lift up that top arm, opening out that chest, a really lovely stretch just to open out the chest and rotate through that upper spine. Good. And we'll do last few here, opening out that chest, coming round and back, following it with your head, just rolling on the block. You shouldn't be holding your head up, just rolling and rotating with that upper spine. Good. Okay, let's just do one last one here. And coming round, opening out, and then back to that start. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to come up, so we're just going to push back up and we're going to do the same onto the opposite side. Okay, so we're going to come round and onto our other side. So you can bring that block round with us if you're using it. We're going to come down onto our side from here. So feet and hips roughly in that line, so those hips are really stacked on top of each other. Make sure that waist is lifted just gently underneath you. So as before, you drop those hips down so we lengthen through that body. Imagine you've got that little grape. You don't want to squash it. Okay. So feet together, pushing through those heels. We're going to lift up that top knee and then lower back down. So feet together, lift up through that top knee and then lower down. So really feeling in that back pocket side area. If you don't, as we said before, you may just need to straighten or bend your knees up a little bit if you need to. Okay, so just bear that in mind if you can't feel it there. So lifting and then lowering from there. Make sure you're keeping those hips stacked, not letting them roll back as you lift that top knee. So often a little watch point, you can do that to cheat a little bit. So try and keep those hips stacked as you're lifting and lowering the top knee. That waist is still gently lifted as well as I'm lifting and lowering from here. And nice and controlled. So if that's feeling comfortable, either staying here at this level, or if you can, we can raise our feet up to hip height, keeping those heels together. We're lifting the knee and lowering from here. So we're still keeping those hips stacked. We're lifting and lowering the top leg, maintaining that control. That waist is still gently lifted, and we're lifting and lowering. Good. Do a few more here, if you can. Done. And let's do one more with those feet raised. And then we're going to lower the feet back down and do last two. Lowering the top again. Good. So make sure that waist stays gently lifted. Lifting and lowering. Done. Good. We'll do last few. Keeping those hips stacked. Let's do one last one. Relax that leg. So let's bend both legs back up again, keeping those hips stacked. We're going to do our Sidekick movement. So we're going to lift this top leg just to that hip height. Again, imagine that leg's on a table. We're going to slide the leg forwards, sliding that leg back. If you need to, just rest in between, okay? But if you here, sliding that leg forwards and back, as you're sliding forwards. Now, if you've done Pilates before or that feels comfortable, then we can straighten the leg and then sliding that leg forwards and back again, still keeping it at that hip height and keeping that control as you slide forwards and back from there. Good. So make sure that pelvis is keeping the control as you're sliding the leg forwards and back. Well done. Good. Well done. And one more here. And then just relax that leg back down. Well done. Okay, so we're going to drop that block down onto the floor again as we did before. Have our head at the front of it, arms out in front, and we're going to lift up the top arm into our arm opening stretch. So we're going to lift up, open out that chest, just coming round and back, and then coming back to that start. And again, lifting up, coming up and opening out that chest, and then coming back to that start position. Good, and again opening out that chest, coming round and back just as far as you feel comfortable. Good. Opening out that chest and coming round and back. So make sure your head is rolling on that block. You're not holding it at all. You're just rotating through the upper spine. As I said before, if you're feeling too much pulling through your shoulder, just bend that elbow a little bit. You can have that elbow bent. So you're really rotating through the spine as you're coming round and back. Good. Opening out and then coming back. Well done. And then back. We'll do a few more here. Round and then back from here. Well done. Really opening out through that chest. Then coming back to the start. Good. Do the last couple here. Good. And again. And let's just do one last one. Opening out that chest and coming round and back from here to that start. Good. Okay, so we're going to come round onto our backs. Just pop that block behind us. And we're going to stretch out our bottom muscles to finish off from here. So we're going to put one foot onto the opposite knee. Allow that leg just to relax open there. If that's enough of a stretch, then just stay there. Or if you can, we're going to bring the knee up and towards you, just as far as you feel comfortable. If that feels easy, then you can just drop to that side you're holding, just so you feel that stretch through that bottom and that upper back. And we're going to hold this stretch here. So just taking a few nice deep breaths in and out. On that out breath, if you can, sink down into that stretch a little bit further. And out. Good. Breathing in and out. On that out breath, if you can, just sink down into that stretch a little bit further, if you can. Good. And again, breath in. And out. And again, breath in. And out. Well done. Just holding that stretch. No tension through that upper back or that upper, even through your neck or any of the upper body. Okay, just holding that stretch. Good. And then relaxing that leg back down. And we do the same on the other side. So opposite foot onto the other knee. Allow that leg just to relax open there. If that's enough of a stretch, then stay there. Or if you can, we're going to bring the other leg up and towards you. Just again, as far as you feel comfortable, holding this stretch. Breathing in and out. On that out breath, if you can, sinking down a little bit further. And on the out breath, relaxing down. If you still can't feel it, just drop to that side you're holding a little bit more. So we're breathing in out here, no tension through that neck or that upper body, just relaxing down into that stretch. Good. Well done. Breathing in and out. And one more here. And then relax. Good. And then relaxing that leg back down. Good. So we're going to slowly come back up into our standing position. And we're going to tuck those feet under. And then slowly rolling back up into our standing position. And relaxing from here. Good. So we'll start from here. We're going to do a couple of roll downs to finish off. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, on the out breath, slowly peeling down towards the floor. Breath in at the end here, and as you breathe out, peeling back up into standing. Good. One more time, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin under, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Breath at the end there, and as you breathe out, slowly peeling back up into standing. Great, well done. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the class today. Thanks for joining us.